What is up there, beautiful people, and welcome to another edition of Just Trending News. Okay, so today we're going to be reading everything that's related to the South African that did not receive medical treatment in Zimbabwe. The person actually had to get airlifted back to Limpopo so the person could receive a medical treatment in South Africa instead. Obviously, we all know the state of the Zimbabwean healthcare system, but I just want to read a post here by MDN News. It says a South African citizen who had been working in Zimbabwe fell ill but could not receive necessary medical care there. As a result, South African authorities had to dispatch a helicopter to retrieve him. Upon his return, he was received by Limpopo Premier Dr. Poppy Ramathuba. And then obviously there you can see the helicopter that's arrived. And then you can also see the Premier of Limpopo, Dr. Poppy Ramathuba. Okay, so I just want to read from a couple of tweets over here. Someone says, and this is in relation to a tweet that was done by Gussie Crime, because Gussie Crime went on to cover this as well. They said a South African who was working in Zimbabwe got sick, but Zimbabwe didn't give him medical treatment. South Africa had to pick him up by helicopter. He was welcomed by Limpopo Premier Dr. Poppy Ramathuba. I just want to read a couple of tweets. Okay, one person says the story is incomplete and misleading. Zimbabwe's public healthcare system is not functional. Another person says those saying he was not denied, however, there is no medication in Zimbabwe. Listen, when you can't provide me with something, you have denied me. Yet when they are here and they're not treated, they run to courts screaming xenophobia. Okay, another person says this is not new. Even Botswana doesn't treat South Africans for free, even though Botswana nationals get free medical treatment in South African medical facilities. Okay, another person says they forgot Poppy, shame, they're provoking her for no reason. I will listen to the radio. Another person added the Premier Dr. Poppy and said, no foreigners must have access to hospitals in our beautiful province. Please, an eye for an eye. They must go to private hospitals, okay? Another person says, RSA started all of this. Wish all other African countries can do the same to South Africans so their eyes and senses can wake up, okay? One last tweet. A person says, good job, Zimbabwe. It's game on. We have the equipment, the means, and we can take care of our own, as we are not the burden or joke on other countries' systems, okay? Well, I just want to say two things regarding the situation. We all know that the healthcare system in Zimbabwe is in shambles, and even if the healthcare system in Zimbabwe was not in shambles, you are not allowed to travel to another country without having the proper and adequate medical insurance before you travel to that country. That's how it should be. And that is a lesson that South Africa should take. Before any foreign national comes to South Africa, that person must be able to prove that they have medical insurance so that they will not be a burden on the already collapsing, in my opinion, public healthcare system, So Zimbabwe having denied this person treatment and him having to get airlifted back into the country, it honestly doesn't surprise me for one of two reasons. Zimbabwe does not have proper medical facilities or hospitals. They can barely even treat their own. Number two, before you travel to another country, it's well known that when you're applying for a visa, you have to prove medical insurance. So was it wrong on Zimbabwe's side? Absolutely not. Is it unfair for South Africans, considering the fact that majority of Zimbabwean nationals are burdened to the public healthcare system? That is the problem, and that is the page that South Africa should start, because it's completely unfair. It's not wrong for Zimbabwe to have done what they have done. It's completely not wrong for them to do that. They're well within their rights, and they do not have the proper facilities anyways. But we should start doing the same. We really should start doing the same. And I'm actually I don't want to say sick and tired of speaking about this, but we speak about the same things over and over and over again. And we try to show our governments and the people who are in charge, the elites, the greater ups, that this is how South Africans get treated everywhere in the world. Yet we are the friendliest and most welcoming nation, apparently. But I don't want to ramble too much about this. Tell me what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next upload.